Hey everybody, this is Tony.
And this is Paul, and we're coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast, where we discuss the ongoing lives and issues of people with developmental disabilities to spark positive change in the field.
And we have a lot of fun doing it.
Making sure that individuals are reaching the goals they have set for themselves. That's one of the many goals of Assured Health Services. If you're looking for a residential care provider or searching for ADS services, Assured Health is your go-to place. Assured Health, helping others succeed. Learn more at assuredhealthohio.com or call 419-442-8066. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Friends for Life podcast. Thanks for tuning back in. Today, we have the one and only Mr. Jordan Young of Toledo Community Photography. Jordan, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, we got a good recommendation for you through some previous podcast guests, and we're really excited to talk about photography in the disability community because I myself am a photographer and I'm very passionate about photography. I love doing it. I do a lot of wildlife photography. That's kind of my gig. So we have a lot to talk about there. But before we get into all the nitty gritty stuff, how did you decide that you wanted to become a photographer?
That's an excellent question. So I would say the best way to describe it is I think that I just brought it up to at the time girlfriend, just that I was at a point in my life when, photography just meant something to me where I felt like I was called to it. I felt like something about it was just interesting to me. And I had a conversation with my girlfriend and she said, like, let's go to school for it. Go to school for it. See what you can do. Let's follow this. And that's whenever I went to art school at University of Toledo. I had some incredible professors that I will never forget. And actually, one of them introduced me to Kim Nielsen at the Disability Studies program. And she, just because that teacher, her name's Barb. Yeah, shout out to Kim. The teacher that introduced me, her name is Barb Miner. I love Barb. She's an incredible human. And she said, hey, a lot of your work revolves around your twin sister with autism. She's like, you might want to have a discussion with Dr. Nielsen about that. And I did. And after one discussion with Dr. Nielsen, I switched majors and I was then pursuing disability studies with an art minor. I felt like it was the perfect fusion. And now that I'm at the point where I've completed disability studies. I got a great taste of photography from UT. My teacher at UT was Deb Orloff. She was absolutely incredible. I was fortunate enough to, through the photography classes I was taking at UT, I was able to go to Italy and get school credits for it. So I had some incredible experiences. I felt like it was something that I felt like the stars were aligning, and Toledo Community Photography is the culmination of all of that background.
Jordan, was this something early on that you probably just dabbled with when you were younger and just it manifested? And if so, how did that look when you were maybe, 10, 11 years old?
Oh, I would say that when I was 10 or 11, the only thing I was taking pictures of was wrestling action figures. Yeah. And I thought that was so cool. But honestly, I felt like photography was something that I kind of grew into. I don't think it was something that was I was you know what, this is something for me. Early on, I didn't really know that. I had to discover that it's a process. I took classes for photography. I was fortunate to learn from great people. But what's great about photography is there's nothing like experience. And when you're out and you learn from people that do this, I ran into Dougie Fresh on so many occasions. He's probably the best photographer in Toledo, I would say. And he cares about his community. So he's set a great example for newbies like me. But if I had to pinpoint back to when I was I want to be a photographer, I would say it didn't come till later in life. I would say probably when I started working with autistic kids. So it wasn't until my late 20s when I started when I was a paraprofessional, and I had decided like I love working with this population. Like, this is incredible. And that's whenever I noticed, like, there's no school picture day for autism clinics. There's no celebratory photos ever taken. And that's nothing against these clinics. Like, that's no fault of their own. I just kind of feel like that's the nature of the beast. I feel like, that's just kind of how they operate. So I kind of wanted to bring in, having noticed that, I started like taking pictures, or I started like sharing the moments with families. And I was like, hey, like, we got a new word today. Like, I got it on video. Or like, we learned a new sign. I got a picture of it. So whatever it was, I noticed that sharing these moments with the family, like, the reaction I got was overwhelmingly positive, and the gratitude was, it's hard to explain. So just from those interactions, I felt like that's where I started growing with photography. And that's where I was like, oh man, if I start using what I learned, in these instances, when I'm interacting with kids with disabilities, like, we can do some good stuff here. So I feel like, it didn't come till later. It really didn't come till later, until I was trying to capture moments, for family members. And I realized that, that these moments that get captured, they're not widely shared. So I want people to, whenever I take photos now, I want people to be proud of what they see. I want people to want to share them. I don't watermark any of my photos. It's not about me. I want family members to be proud of their kids and their relatives. And I think that photography is really unique too, just because of the way that you can say a lot without having to say anything. And I've really appreciated that part of the journey. It's really taught me a lot. So I'm done speaking in cliches, so you guys can talk now.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that, because how you put it, it makes me think of some of the wonderful pictures that I've seen. And to like see a mom hold on to her child who may have a disability, and with the camera in the right person's hand, like you said, that will express so much more than if I had a whole list of, complaints or rules, regulations, or just even trying to explain the love and the caringness. I am taken away by, like, with Paul doing what he does for us here at Friends for Life. I've gotten to travel down this world, and my goodness, you have chosen something very difficult and pricey. Because, and I guess, just for some of our listeners and viewers, like, how often or how long can the perfect shot take? Like, is this something that you just, and then you're like, I'll check it out later? Or are you critiquing yourself at, like, every scene?
Oh man, that is such a good question. I am very happy you asked that. So the shoots, you got to be patient. I would say some of the most valuable stuff that I learned in my disability studies classes that I apply to my photography is, I'm not interested in pity. Like, I'm not interested in photos about or showing pity. I'm not interested in inspiration porn. I'm not interested in like trying to display, like, all I care about, like, dignity, honesty, and pride. Like, I want to display these things in a way that seems genuine. So whenever I'm in a shot or I'm in a shoot, and I'm like, I was at an autism clinic last week, and the clinic that I was at, some of these kids had pretty severe behaviors, and I loved it. I loved every second of it, because these kids came at the camera. And I loved that with my experience, I was able to just not flinch. Like, I didn't move. I was as comfortable as could be. And I just waited them out. And it, like, don't get me wrong, like, I never stop clicking, because all you need is a moment. And what I loved is I feel like what I learned from my disability studies professors and even from Deb Orloff at UT, I feel like those dudes I feel like those people are behind me and they're supporting this. So whenever I'm having a shoot and it's maybe it's taking longer than we thought, like I said to one of the teachers last week, I was like, hey, let's just let it breathe. We'll come back. No big deal. We'll try something new. And I think that approach, is oddly a breath of fresh air in this type of work. And what I love too is that it wasn't just I didn't just snap photos of them posing in front of a backdrop. And I did get great photos of them posing in front of a backdrop. But I also got photos of them interacting with their paras. I got photos of them smiling and playing. I think all of these moments, they don't get celebrated. So whenever I'm critiquing, and I'm going through these photo shoots, all I can think about are family members, parents. I think about what they see. I think about what they're seeing. I was lucky enough to attend Camp Courageous this past summer, CCS, and I loved every second of it. I can't even tell you how incredible Laura and those counselors were. But the best part about it, the most, they're great human beings. Yes. And probably the most important part for me didn't even happen at camp. I posted photos, I did this huge photo dump on Facebook of all the photos that I got at camp. And this mom reached out to me and she said that she's never seen her daughter smile like that. And I was like, this is why I do it. That's exactly it. So I reached back out to her. I said, I got 10 photos of her that I'm really proud of. And I sent them all to her. And I said, that's what this is about. We're here together. We're all in this together. We're here to share it. So I think that type of interaction has stuck with me where, I don't expect every picture to have an emotional exchange like that. But I hope with every picture that something warms in you, that something sparks, something makes you happy, and that joy is there. And what I've noticed with this photography is it does take patience, but it absolutely pays off. And the family members and the people that have reached out to me, they've been really grateful. So that type of reinforcement has been, it's been really special to me.
Yeah. And I like what you brought up earlier was about the inspiration porn. And a lot of people ask us why we don't do more videos and photos of what they call inspiration porn, because that's not what we're here for. We're here to tell real stories of real people's lives, not the pretty shiny parts and smiles all the time, because it's not that. My life's not that, your life's not that, Tony's life's not that. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, and that's what is being portrayed about the DD field regularly, and we're trying to break that stereotype and talk about real issues. So thank you for bringing that up, because a lot of people don't understand that. It's more it's a great marketing tool if you're trying to get people to come to your service or whatever. Yeah. We understand, but we have people with disabilities on all the time telling their life stories and what they do and some of the struggles they have. And that's what people really need to hear, because the other stuff is just fluff in our opinion. And we're not afraid to call that out.
Yeah, we'll call it out every time.
We see a lot of it. So thank you for bringing that up. And I want to give you a props for going out and trying to become a photographer, because as you know, it's not an easy thing, because it's often devalued. Because everybody has a cell phone now. Back 10 years ago, 15 years ago, photography was considered this highly prized skill, and you could do all this stuff. And now everybody has a cell phone, and they think they're the greatest photographer in the world. So it is, but I think a lot of people do appreciate quality work, and people like you and I are out here doing quality work. So we're trying to give people pictures that can last a lifetime, and not just 300 cell phone photos that are going to end up on Facebook and never to be looked at again. And I think that's the value in photography, especially because I started in video, and they're very different in how they operate. Like video is very much so more, it's not more technical. It's just trickier because there's so many factors of like movement that you add into it, and photography.
So many moving parts.
Photography is, I got into photography after starting in video, and I think I enjoy it more because it's much more impactful in certain ways. Like a video can be impactful for telling a story and the motion of the story, and like getting action is really important. But photography freezes a moment in time, and you're able to explain in writing or even in the photo itself by the way it looks how the scene is taking place, and it kind of leaves a little mystery to it. Mm-hmm. You don't get to see all the movement and the stuff. So I think they both have their places in telling a story. And so you said your sister, you grew up, you have a sister with autism. How has that shaped your photography? Because I mean, everything that we do in our lives affects the art that we create. So how has that affected you? I mean, obviously you're taking pictures in the disability realm, which is very helpful because there's not a lot of quality video and photography about that. So how did that shape you to where you are now?
My relationship with my twin sister is interesting just because like we're older. We're about to turn 40. And we're the type of people who I was just asked this, if anything has changed, and nothing's really changed. Like, she's my best friend on earth. I feel like there's been a lot of situations we've had to react to. But I would say that the way that she has helped or even shaped how I approach photography, again, it's just, she's the most honest human being I've ever met in my life. Like, and I know everybody can say that about a family member. I get it, but I'm not lying when I say that. And her honesty, like, it's just so genuine. So whenever I'm taking photos and if there's anything that happens that makes me think of her, so a little bit of a backstory. So my twin sister, she is my best friend on earth, and we haven't been together in a long time. She just recently moved up here to Toledo a little over a year ago, and it's been the greatest thing on earth. And now I get to share my photography with her. And now I get to get her input on things. And it's like I've said, like my cup is so full just because I feel like we prioritized her independence. Like now she's got a job, a car, an apartment, and all of these things I feel like I carry with me. Like I am so proud of my twin sister. Like Courtney is like, she hung the moon, and she is I have a 2-year-old son, and the fact that she is an influence to him, it means the world to me that he gets to grow up with her around. So if I'm being painfully honest, I just feel like I try to apply what Courtney teaches me on a daily basis to all aspects of my life. And I have found when I try to bring that type of honesty and that type, and being that genuine to photo shoots, to individuals with disabilities, like you said, I'm not trying to prop anybody up. I'm not trying to do any fluff. I'm not trying to show anything that isn't real. I want to show what's real, and I want us to be proud of it. And I think just that mindset of what she has taught me, putting that in the perspective behind a lens, I think that has helped me become a better photographer. Like, just because all I want to do is do anything as honest as she does everything. Mm-hmm. So because of that, I feel like my photography is only getting better, just because I just want it to be as honest as I can make it.
Yeah.
Respect to that.
The Reliable Drug and Alcohol Testing Clinic is a leading provider and convenient source of pre-employment and occupational type testing. Their clinic provides services to a wide range of private businesses, healthcare facilities, and municipal and county courts. Reliable is an independent, locally owned clinic. As a result, they provide their services at a lower cost than the major hospitals, have faster turnaround times on test results, and eliminate the long waits typically incurred at these larger facilities. To learn more, visit reliabledrugtest.com.
Really quick, and I know I can go down rabbit holes that don't make any sense. Are you guys fraternal or identical? And can you even be identical?
Fraternal. She's like a foot and a half shorter than me.
And is that even a thing? Can you be identical and still be male and female? Like, I think that's something we need to ask a doctor or something.
I should have so much twin facts off the cuff, but I actually don't know the answer to that.
Well, you know what you were called when you were in the belly. Womb-mates.
That's true. Yeah, hey, we still use that joke.
Hey, that's the way to. I love it.
So good.
Yeah, I'm
dad
sad.
jokes.
The dad jokes are galore in my mind.
Is there anything, because autism has kind of become a buzzword, like it's even like, I know people that they'll be like, oh, I act a little goofy, maybe I have autism, and I'm like, people use it like as this like it's like a goofy fun thing in popular society, but it's really not, you know what I mean? It's like, it's something that it's not a bad thing, but it's something that people have, and it can make their life a little more difficult navigating through society and stuff like that, just because, you know, all the things associated with social cues, whatever. Is there anything you wish people knew about autism? Because it's kind of been like taken lightly nowadays, which is kind of, I don't know,
honestly, it is a shame, and it's almost borderline disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like when I hear people say that, oh, I'm a little OCD. That's, well, no, you're not. People who are OCD really believe that their lives are going to be in danger if they don't click that light switch 17 times and then turn around in a circle and go, woohoo. But, you know, in all actuality, it can be very disrespectful to use a disability, I think, that someone has to overcome just so you can say why you do something quirky.
Yeah.
You know, so, but back to what Paul was saying.
Oh, for sure. And and I feel like what is so awesome about having gone through disability studies classes is that this is what we talk about. Like, this is the meat and potatoes of what we talk about. And whenever we're talking about autism, while awareness of it is fantastic, and we are at a point where like conversations about it are happening, and that's fantastic. However, like with the internet, with social media, trends do happen, but I am happy that what we're talking about now is a spectrum. Now what people are beginning to realize is that autism is not one size fits all. It looks different for every single person. So whenever I come across the quirky, like I had an autistic moment comments, whenever I do, you know, come across those, like I have to ask myself, is this a moment where I want to try to educate? Is this a moment where I want to try to like leave a positive mark on whatever this conversation is talking about? If it's social media, I usually I don't engage, just because it can turn into a cesspool pretty quickly. But what I've really enjoyed, what I'm really grateful for UT is that I feel like now I have the confidence to engage people and have conversations about like, you know, like, hey, you know, I heard you say you are autistic. I heard you say you are autistic because you did this, that, or the other. I just want to talk to you about that. And I can engage, and I can tell stories about my twin sister, and I can tell stories about how, like what people experience is on a spectrum, and that talking about it in a way that you are like, if your goal is just trying to get laughs, like I almost feel like if I take the approach like, hey man, that's like low hanging fruit of humor, get smarter. But I really do, I encourage the moments now where I can educate and I can have conversations with people, especially out in my community, like the places that I'm around. Like if I hear that, I don't think it would be like confrontational to be like, hey, I heard you say that. Let's talk about it. So to answer your question, like, how does that stuff make me feel, or whenever I come across it, to be perfectly honest with you, like, it's the height of disrespect. Like, it's disrespectful. At the same time, there is a part of me that finds peace in the fact that, like, there's no longer fear around autism. Like, it's no longer this really scary thing that people are like, oh, it's unpredictable. Like, so in a very weird way, we're moving into this space where there's this acceptance. It's just, social media has made it really weird to get here, and it's really hard to navigate with it. But it's okay. Like, I feel like, as long as I am able to have honest discussions with people, as long as I don't lose my cool, as long as I don't, as long as I'm not confrontational and I act in a way where, I'm like, hey, I am giving information. Can you receive information? I'm hoping that I can bring everything I've learned to the table.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. And yeah, we see that stuff all the time, and it's just like, it is like internet trend, or you hear people say it, and it's like, I don't think you understand the implication of what you're saying. Like, and it is hard, but I'm lucky because I'm like 6'1" and like probably larger than most people. So I can be like, say it again, punk. Like, what are you going to do about it? But yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think we're ready to play a little game. Are you ready for a game? Lighten things up a little bit.
Let's do it.
Yes, and that game is called Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire is a part of the Friends for Life podcast that I ask 3 questions in a would you rather scenario. The quicker you answer them, the better it is, but we really don't care anymore. We just... So if you're ready, Jordan, I have a few questions all ready for you.
Ready.
Sweet. All right, first one. Would you rather take photos in Africa or the Great Blue Sea?
What was the second one?
The Great Blue Sea.
The ocean.
Somewhere in the ocean.
Ugh, Africa all day. I can't swim. Africa, easy.
You can watch some things get ate.
Yeah, all
Would you
day.
rather be
so much better.
nearsighted or farsighted?
I think it would be really exciting to be farsighted, to see things far away.
Well,
So I'm
right there with you.
Yeah, I'll take that one.
All right, last one. Would you rather take an embarrassing picture of yourself in a sticky situation, or have others take pictures of you while you slept?
Oh God, the first one. I think it's a great quality when people can laugh at themselves. I think that's an important quality as you grow up. But nobody should see me when I'm sleeping. That sounds awful. Like, it's probably like a crime scene.
I wanted to point out something. You said you're almost 40, man, and like, I hope it doesn't sound too weird, but you look pretty young. You look good, dude.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is what this is what happens when you avoid a lifetime of manual labor. You barely age.
That. Yeah, I'll be in that 40 ball real soon.
No, I was going to say, I'm like 34, and I get people that are like, oh, you 40, 41? I was like, damn.
It's just the beard, man. That's okay. Yeah. That's the risk of that beard. Some people take the age thing, but that's okay, man. It's glorious. It's glorious.
That's fair. Well, this has nothing to do with disabilities, but I've had many mishaps with cameras. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to your camera, if you can think of one?
No, honestly, I'm still pretty new to the game, so I haven't had too many bad mishaps. The worst one I've had is just like my toddler getting a hold of the camera and pulling it out of the bag. So I was able to do like the slow motion dive for it, and like we can all have a big laugh. Like, that has happened, but knock on whatever, like nothing too bad has happened yet.
Well, yeah,
and I know these things can get pretty pricey. If you're willing to divulge, what's the most that you've ever spent on a camera?
Oh, I love it. So like, I am a bare bones beginner. I use a mirrorless lens, or my camera is mirrorless because the kids that I work with are so fast the settings that I use, I want to be able to get them.
Gotcha.
So I haven't spent too much, man. The most that I have spent is $1,200. That's it. Like I've only spent $1,200 on my entire camera. And I bought another lens for $300, and I'm just trying to exhaust those as much as I possibly can.
That's a good place to start. My first camera was $600 with the kit.
Hey.
It was, and I beat the heck out of it. I took it up on the mountains. I was going to say, I had a camera last year, and I was filming in the middle of the ocean, and my buddy said, hey, can you come here for a second? So I put it on a tripod, and the boat rocked, and it just sailed overboard and went to the bottom of the ocean. I was like, well,
bloop, 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 bloop.
There's that.
You see, whenever it sailed to the bottom of the ocean, you didn't like contemplate your own existence and how you were in that boat. I can't do it with water, man. It just it's making me spiral.
No, I wanted to jump off the boat into the shark-infested water and end it right there, but things pass. Well, we appreciate your time, Jordan. We really appreciate what you're doing, and don't worry about being new. No, most photographers are new. There's a lot. You can learn a lot in a very short amount of time, and your niche is our niche, which is the disability world. So if anybody is looking for a photographer, you got to get them to reach out to you, Jordan. Where can they get in touch with you to hire you to come do work? Because photography is very important. Whether people realize it or not, they will eventually realize it. So,
yeah, the absolute best way right now is Facebook. So I'm Toledo Community Photography on Facebook. And the website is not done yet, but I'm going to have a portfolio website up soon. So yeah, just if you reach out to me on Facebook, I can give you all the pertinence so that we can have a conversation.
All right. Well, Jordan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
We're very happy to learn about you and your photography, and that there's more people in the Toledo area that are fighting the good cause.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys so much.
THS Remote Supports is clearly focused on improving independent living through dynamic and personalized services. Their systems have been carefully developed and perfected to ensure that everyone receives the best care through the least intrusive means possible. Located in Cincinnati, Ohio, they've spent over 20 years providing in-home supports to individuals with disabilities. If you or someone you know is looking for a remote service provider, go to thsrss.com or call 513-882-9088.